That makes perfect sense.
Of course. And notice that perfect sense is always simple. Half of the difficulty all of you have is that you expect answers to really troublesome problems to be as complicated as you perceive the problem to be. And it's never the case. Okay.
Thank you. And I would like to ask a question for Pat, if I might. She asks, how can she hear or listen more effectively for the guidance of the angels she feels are so close to her, but she's not listening? She's listening but not hearing. Is there something that I could share with her, or you would share with her?
Gently persist in listening. The intent for communication is there. Persist. And I said gently, not with vigor. Gently persist in listening.
Thank you.
You are welcome.
And some quick, you had told me in the past that I need not purchase health insurance. With my change in capacity, how would you feel about your advice at this time? My personal. Seeing all the money that's going down the drain to take care of my mom, I wonder. And
I will put it this way. Do it if you cannot find peace otherwise.
okay. Thank you.
Do it, I will say, as an accommodation to fear that you cannot get free of.
But if I was free of the fear, which would be my natural state, if I claim it and express it, then everything will be provided as needed.
Then you will know how to be on target at every moment. If you were free from fear, you could ask from time to time whether it is appropriate to instate it or not. And because you are free of fear, you would be able to hear truly what was appropriate or what would be appropriate. I will put it this way, it is not necessary for you to have it. But if you cannot become free of anxiety, then buy it.
Okay. And one short one, please.
That is the humane thing to do, you see. It's not right or wrong.
No, but having a Western model, living with a Western model and embracing trust has become I guess you could say, an issue.
Yes.
You know, if I was more responsible, I would do things.
Of course.
Yes, and can you give me any insight to the business that you said?
I'm going to stop at that
Fine,
point,
thank you.
so there is time for others.
Of course, thank you.
Okay. Hands. Right here? Yes.
I would ask if is it appropriate for me to ask for Magdalena, who's not here, or for myself?
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
Is it appropriate for me to ask a question for Magdalena, who's not here, or for myself?
For yourself.
Okay. Is there anything that you can tell me, or anything that would be helpful for me to know in my path right now in school, my relationship with Kentry? I feel good about where I am. I'm just wondering if there's anything that I need to know that will help me stay more on track, embody God more fully.
Not really. If there were anything you needed to know, it has been covered in what has been said so far today.
Good. Then I have some specific questions.
Fine.
The questions are, and you can answer either if you want. One, is it appropriate for us to take the truck to Salt Lake to be fixed? Is that necessary? And the second question is, I felt a desire to consider buying a home. I'm not sure how we would do that, but it's just coming up, and I'm wondering if, and if so, when that might be appropriate or not to consider.
The answer to the first question is no, and the answer to the second question is to be open to it constantly. Not with an intent to purchase quickly, but with inquisitiveness and attentiveness that will allow the opportunity to register with you when it appears.
So it'd be appropriate for us to start educating ourselves, and I guess...
Sure.
Yeah. I'm kind of afraid that if I let myself go there, my ego will take over and say, oh, I want a house, I want a home, you know, that kind of thing, and I don't want to get too attached. If it's better for us to just stay in our tiny little apartment and feel satisfied with that.
Oh, be satisfied all along the way.
Okay. But it's okay to open up to that and see where it leads us.
Indeed, and just be clear within yourself that you do not want willfulness to enter into the picture. You want to watch the natural unfoldment of your fulfillment as God is unfolding it, not according to your ego's wants. It's wonderful practice.
Okay.
Okay.
Is it appropriate for Magdalena's question to be asked or not?
Not today.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Hands. Michael.
Good afternoon, Raj.
Good afternoon.
Nice to be with you again today. I have a couple of questions. One is a yes or no question. Recently, I bought what was called a electrical integration unit, which what it is you plug it in your outlet in your house, and supposedly the electricity that's going through your house to appliances, etc., it becomes more integrated, or the signal itself becomes more integrated so that it doesn't have a negative effect on your energy. I don't know if other people have the same experience, but like when the refrigerator goes on in the house, I actually feel the vibrations like, going through my body. And I don't know if it's because of the practices that I'm in, or if it's my imagination, or if it's the noise that's just annoying because it's so peaceful and it's such a change or whatever. But I'm curious about this particular device because the fellow who sold it to me was a wonderful man. But yet I bought it. I don't understand quantum physics. And so basically what it got down to was to make the purchase on faith. And, he said, you'll recognize a difference. But then again, there's the feeling like what you expect to get is what you get, like the placebo effect or whatever you want to call it. So I want to know from you if this is imagined or if this is a real thing, or if this device is if there's actually some usefulness to it, or if it's just all folderah.
Or is it all what?
Folderah, just bullshit.
The latter.
So it's all bullshit. Absolutely.
Indeed.
The next question that I have, and I wasn't going to ask this question, but a lot of people have asked me about it, so I'm going to. You remember the leak in the water line, of course, and you told me to dig in a spot where I had a lot of doubts about digging there, and to make a long story short, I dug a test hole there. It came up perfectly dry. So I called the largest plumbing company in the area, and they turned me on to a guy who's a leak finder who can find it through sound. He puts a probe in the ground and can hear the water running. And he found it at the opposite end of where you told me to dig. So the question that I have, I've heard some stuff around this in my own guidance. But the question that I have to you is, what was that about? Why would you have told me to dig in a place that was exactly opposite of where the leak was?
It's very simple. Locating objects is something which Paul feels very uneasy about listening for. And yet, he insists on listening if a question of that sort arises, so as to get past the uneasiness of it. Let's put it this way. It's a question, the answer to which can be verified immediately. And he experiences that as a test of his listening, even though it is not presented to him as such. So, he does not do well because of his doubt and the level of anxiety it produces. But as I said, he persists in listening and sharing what he hears as the very means of getting past the uneasiness that makes it difficult for him to hear.
So this was for Paul?
This was evidence of Paul's inability to hear clearly when he feels tested.
Right. Well, see, being self-centered, I thought it was a lesson for me, because it brought up a lot of stuff for me, as you know, and I thought it had something to do with my integrity. In other words, there was a knowing in me that said where you said it was, or where Paul said it was not where it was. And so, but yet I went ahead and, you see, it came up, it's like integrity versus faith, okay? Or maybe blind faith. Maybe that's a better term for it. Because my integrity or my knowing was, that's not it. That's not right. But yet, because Raj has never steered me wrong, on blind faith, I'm going to dig a test hole, which I expected to come up dry. And then it did, and I went, damn, what's this all about? Of course, here comes the ego. Have all this 11 years been for nothing, And then, of course, if you think about it, all of the valuable information that has come to me over the 11 years, I mean, even if you want to play percentages, you know what I mean? It's still a hell of a deal. You see what I mean? To persist and listen and pay attention because of all the value that obviously it's made in my, and the difference it's made in my life. But I guess the other reason I wanted to ask the question is because there's a lot of other people out there, who are going, oh, look, you see, he said this and it turned out to be that, therefore all the rest of it is bullshit. You see what I mean? Because it came up for me, and I know that because it's just doubt. It's just what the game the ego plays to try and hook you. And so that's why I brought it up.
It not only happens with others out there relative to what I say, it happens with individuals relative to what they hear their guidance say.
Yes. Oh, yes.
And if you want to hear more clearly, you persist in listening so as to increase your skill at listening, and so as to reduce fear or anxiety you might have around listening. You persist in listening so that in the experience of it, you can come to a greater and greater level of peace where your own ego is not inserting its disturbance into your awareness, and the communication with the Holy Spirit or God or your guide comes through with utter clarity. Now, Paul does not feel uneasy in this kind of setting, even with a question such as yours. And so he continues to be able to hear me clearly and to express exactly what I am meaning. So, as long as you are incapable of hearing without flaw, you are bound under one circumstance or another to hear unclearly. But that does not nullify what you have heard clearly. And it does not call for doubt, it calls for persistence.
Well, here I am.
Indeed. And you continue to listen to your own guidance. Yes.
Okay, I have one last question. Well, I have lots of questions, but in the interest of time. And that is, recently I went to see a dentist. And there was an estimate of like $1,400 for the work that he wanted to do on my teeth. And I haven't been to the dentist that often, and even though that sounded like a pretty high fee, I thought, well, it needs to be done, and it's probably a very complex procedure. So they scheduled a 2-hour appointment, and I went in, and I was out of there in an hour, no anesthetic, and the whole time the guy was doing it, he was talking about some kind of a movie that he had seen to his assistant. And it brought up a lot of things. I mean, the ego really got hold now. Here this guy's making $900 an hour for something that he can do, as easy as 1, 2, 3. And there are a lot of people out there, like yoga teachers, for instance, which I am one, who, and others, or school teachers, or other people that really serve the community, that are paid poorly. And So, I mean, I know this guy is good at what he does and whatnot. So after the session, I called him over and I said, you know, this took an hour. It was an easy job. You're charging me over $900 for this particular thing. And I said, I'm paying in advance. I don't have insurance. This is coming out of my pocket. Surely there's some. So he did give me a 5% reduction because I paid in advance and he didn't have to go through the insurance thing. But then I thought, you know, I feel really funny about bringing this up. It's like I'm trying to chisel the guy. But by the same token, in integrity, is it right to question things when they seem to be so out of kilter like this? Or should I have just said, there's no right and wrong in this situation, and just kind of said, ego, shut up, and walk off?
It's absolutely appropriate to challenge it, to question it, and to register your dissatisfaction with it. If you don't, you will continue to be steamrollered. Of course, object.
Of course, it made him really uncomfortable. And his staff was looking at me
Well,
like...
he didn't mind making you uncomfortable by charging you exorbitantly.
That's true. That's true. But here, and then the other thing that came up is because it was such an obvious example of you know, something being out of balance, to me, for me anyhow, was then the ego just wouldn't let me go. It's like, are you going to go back to this guy for the second session? Or, you know, shouldn't you write your congressman or something? Or, because I asked him, I said, how did you come up with this fee structure? And what it is they charge you per surface, and it's like $150 per surface. And I said, well, who sets that rate? And he said, it's the Washington Dental Association, which is a group of a professional organization that suggests to dentists how much they should charge. Well, why wouldn't I join that if I were a dentist? You see what I mean? So it's kind of like collusion, but it's a legal form because it's all voluntary, so to speak. So, I mean, but yet I'm so cautious about getting caught up in something where I look at the system and go, you see, the system is wrong. Let's get our placards and go out and, you know, demonstrate against dentists or the Republicans or, you know, Saddam Hussein or anything like that. So it's kind of like, again, it's a fine line between should you object or should you just, I mean, it's all about maintaining your peace, really, for me. You know, I'd rather pay the money and have my peace. But yet I was in kind of a situation where if you pay the money, you lose your peace. If you bring it up, you lose your peace. You see what I mean? And then it took a couple of days. I'll tell you what did it for me. My friend said to me, well, just think of the guy that they pay $1 million a year to who runs down a grassy field with the skin of a pig under his arm. Now, they pay him $1 million a year, right? $13 million a year. So it's not too bad to pay the dentist $900. So I guess what I'm looking for here is guidance on
I guess the real issue is how much pleasure you get out of thinking about all of this.
displeasure or
displeasure.
dissonance.
Hey, Mike, the dentist bill was better than the electronics bill. Buy that thing.
Yes, or how much displeasure you get from thinking about it. It's really very simple. He's not going to change his price. Do you want the work done? If you do, pay the price. And let it go. If it is so outrageous to you that it feels like a complete violation of your integrity to go back and have the other half done, then don't go back. If you feel like registering a complaint with the dental association in the state of Washington, write a letter to them. But don't enjoy thinking about it so much. Or enjoy thinking about it and being miserable as a result. Whatever you do, do it consciously. That's what I'm trying to get at.
Well, you know, I did pray about manifesting some new teeth, and that didn't happen, so.
It's no reason not to continue to persist against the mutually agreed upon determination that teeth can't be healed.
Well, you know, the guidance that I got was, you know, this appointment's coming up, this appointment is coming up tomorrow. I don't have a dental healing yet, so what do I do? And my guidance was, go to the dentist. Go to the dentist. So I can't help but feel that I was set up with this $900 thing to bring all that up. You know, it's like, that's the learning, is to bring all that up.
You just love to think, don't you?
I can't stop, help, I can't stop thinking.
As long as you see it, that's all that matters. Just don't think that your thinking counts for much.
I realize that. And listen, if I could find a way to stop, I would. Thank you.
The easiest way to stop is to shut up. Give your attention to the bridge of your nose and the air that's passing through it.
That's exactly what I teach. Yeah, you would think I'd be able to do it all the time.
Okay. We will take a break. Okay. Hands. Right here. Yes.
Thank you, Raj. I passionately, deeply love this planet. I care about her so much that last year or so, I'm on the verge of tears watching the changes. The planet is warming up. Are the changes necessary? Am I holding on to something that has to change? Am I being selfish because I want this planet to be as beautiful as I have known it?
Let me tell you right now that the warming that is occurring is natural.
Okay.
It is not a result of negligence.
Okay.
It is a contributive adjustment that is occurring, not a detrimental one. Continue.
Contributing.
Yes.
So, can I drop? I guess it's a fear that I have. That this planet is going to disintegrate, blow up, purge.
It is a false fear.
Okay.
Abandon it.
Okay.
Gleefully. Gleefully, with glee, with
Glee.
laughter, with joy, let go of that
Okay.
thought. That does not mean, however, that the negligence that is occurring, that does not mean, however, I will say it straightforward, the negligence that is occurring does need to stop. And voices need to be raised in objection So don't hesitate to raise your voice, and don't hesitate to let your passionate love for the earth